is the number one problem by every ULI member that they cited was there's a massive disconnect between buy price and sell price. And so you still have sellers saying my property's worth a lot at a 4 cap rate or a 5 cap rate. And the buyers are saying, you're crazy. It's like the Dutch tulip crisis, hundreds of years ago. That tulip isn't worth nothing. I'm not going to pay for it. And so that's number one big disconnect. The other thing they said is that the biggest problem is in office and retail. And for the first time ever in the whole ULI Emerging Trend Series, and I was with the first one at Legacy Equitable Real Estate over 25 years ago, they moved hotel as a desired asset class for investment above office and retail into a number 3 ranking behind industrial and multifamily. Never happened. So you go back to that Boo Leisure comment that I gave you. They're recognizing that on the hotel side, this is a very different time. Hotel is going to perform just like it did during COVID. All the banks panicked in the first year of COVID. They bundled all their hotel loans and they sold them to private equity at 40 to 60% discounts. That was a big mistake. And those assets have performed very well. So I think the first thing is the entities that are pushing the people back to work, they have a vested interest, they own or finance those assets. Number 2, they're finding that the workforce has more to say than they do. And the third thing, the studies that are coming out are showing that the workforce is more efficient working remote, part or full time. And I get calls probably like you, Jim, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and they start at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm working, 70, 80 hours a week, more than I ever did at any point in my career when I went to the office all the time. And so I think when that workforce can do more and be flexible and use technology, we just don't need that office asset anymore. And going back to this graphic, I'll give you an analogy that's going to parallel this. Start thinking about gas stations and convenience stores. When you have this technology and you look at the numbers in this Argonne report behind the number of EVs and EV vehicles that are being manufactured and what will be in place by 2030, if we don't need to stop at a gas station anymore and go in and get a drink in a convenience store, I think we're going to see incredible distress in convenience store properties and gas stations, because we recharge wherever, at a grocery store, at home, at the office. We're not doing it at a service station. So what happens to those assets? What happens to that land? That's a great puzzle for EXP to help us figure out. We'll put in, the convenience store, but I think we're going to see tens of thousands of convenience stores that are going to become economically obsolete. What do we do with that real estate?